Hey, I'm probably supposed to tell you to like or subscribe or smash a button or hit a thing or ding a bell or do something cool. So do it. This episode is fun. I go off on a side road about coffee before I tell you about the worst performance I've ever seen in the history of people doing stuff. Stick around. It's the Slade Ham Experiment. Welcome to the Slade Ham Experiment. A lot to get to today. I am, what a frustrating week. I am mercifully here. I went and saw Black Panther 2 in a public theater, which made me want to jump off the roof wasn't high enough. I saw a kids play, which I'll talk about, I'm sure, in depth. I have to get to that. I'm drinking late night. Welcome. Let me just start there. Let me stop. If you're new to the show, I forgive my droning for a second. I promise you by the time you get to the end of the episode, I will have made at least a point. Perhaps two, if I've done my job well. I'm in the midnight spaceship. I've dimmed the lights a little bit. You can see a candle flickering behind me. I'm drinking, and it's become a topic of conversation what I drink on the show now. I'm drinking an Ethiopian. How do you pronounce this? Yirgacheffe. Starts with a Y, ends with a chef. Spelled differently than the way you think. The Ethiopian coffee holds a very special place in my heart. I go through all these different coffees. I've talked at length about how I try to find these different blends and brands, and I'm stranded in this food desert that doesn't have a lot of good ones, so I try to go online, but you don't really know what to expect. I miss when I was in Ethiopia. We did the first time I was ever introduced. They take their coffee very seriously. They say bread is life. I don't remember how to say that in Aramaic. We got taken out to, we had a layover in Addis Ababa, and it's the capital of Ethiopia. I was going to get stuck in the airport for a little while. I didn't want to stay there. So we went out, we got a cab, we went into the city, we had dinner after we'd gone to the museum, just done all of the things there are to do in the capital of Ethiopia. And after dinner, I wanted coffee. And the coffee, we're so used to our dumb Starbucks and our quick brews. Just throw everything in a Keurig, hit a button, the water somehow combines, it spits out a cup, we chug it. It gets the job done. I'm not arguing with you. But they brought us from the room we were eating in, the dining room, the restaurant, out to a little wooden hut, little thatched roof hut behind the restaurant. And then a young woman comes out. They give you popcorn to chew on, which is just a snack on, like a sweet kind of, kettle corn kind of taste. That's how it tasted. And then she brings out green coffee beans and gives them to you. And I can't remember the name of the region down in Arba Minch. Starts with an S. There's like 5 or 6 different coffee regions in Ethiopia. Anyway, the girl brings out the coffee beans. They're green. They look like cherries before they're even green. And then she mashes the beans out of that. Then she takes the green beans and she lights a little cook fire and she roasts the coffee beans right there. And you're talking. This is a social experience. And as you eat your popcorn and you wait, she now has roasted the beans. She puts them in this mortar and pestle-like thing. They're like wood. She grinds them all up. And then they have a special, man, if I'd known I was going to talk about this, I'd have looked up all these words. It's like a special coffee pot kettle. And the water's all boiled in there. And she pours the coffee directly into the container, and they just sink to the bottom. There's no filter, no nothing. And then you get these little tiny porcelain cups, no handles or anything. And she'll set those down, and she pours it from like a foot above you, all like artistically, one big flowing stream. It's really impressive, but it keeps the grinds from going out with the coffee. So I've got to order from whatever that region is. When I was down in Arba Mensch, I used to drink this coffee 24 hours a day. That's why I don't think I'm affected by it. Just not decaf, not anything. Just all day long coffee. Midnight, who cares? I would sit out on this terrace, and it would rain a lot at night. You would hear that Toto song playing in the back of your head about blessing the rains. And you would watch the lightning flash out there, but they would have coffee 24/7. There would always be somebody there. They wouldn't go through the whole ceremony, but they'd have really good coffee. And I was leaving there. That's what brought this up. I was leaving there the last time I left. We were in the airport, right? Arba Mensch has this tiny little airport. My dude, this guy, he worked for the military, but he also was like a liaison to the city. They called him the mayor or the king or something. Can't answer the phone, Chase. I'm doing an episode. It's my buddy Chase. He's in the finals of the Seattle comedy competition. Trying to be a supportive friend. So, my dude had told me he could get me some coffee to bring home. And I was like, all right, man, well, here's when our flight is. If you can get it to me before then, I'm in. He goes, it'll be like $20. I go, all right, I give him $20. And we go to the airport, we're sitting there. And the plane, Arba Mensch has one plane in, one plane out. That's the day, buddy. Don't miss it. So we're all sitting there waiting on the plane. This thing comes flying in, and I remember the tire hit the ground, and you saw white smoke like they elected a new pope. Just they blew a tire. And I remember that's when the mayor showed up. Mayor King. Anyway, he shows up. He's like, I have got your coffee. And he hands me 5 kilos. 5 kilos of coffee. Like, I'm just gonna, where am I gonna put this? I left sweatshirts in that airport. I was given, who wants a t-shirt? What do you want? I can't bring all this shit home. I flew home with no boxers and socks, just kilos of coffee. And the beans, that's what was so good about it. The beans, when he brought them, they were in these like clear cellophane bags. They were still warm. He had brought these straight from the farm, from the factory, from wherever they roast this stuff. It was divine. That's what it was. $20. Get out of here. I need more of that. Sorry for the side road. It's just what I do. I'm going back to Africa in February. I'm gonna see what I can bring back. I don't know what parts I'm going to yet. It won't be Ethiopia. My mom called me earlier this week. Sent me a Facebook message, something. She goes, hey, your niece is having a play, and I don't want to go by myself. Will you go with me? And listen to me, I don't like going places I don't want to go. I don't want to go to your play. I don't want to go to your wedding. I don't want to go to a funeral. I just don't. Those things don't move me. I just don't enjoy doing it. But it's my mom and it's my niece. And I know my niece, I know this is going to be a musical. I don't know what. I know she can sing. She's a this is not me being biased. She's actually very talented. I've only seen her perform in a living room on Thanksgiving kind of way. You know how kids do that? Hey guys, everybody get in the living room. Everybody get in the living room. We got this thing. Me and my brothers used to do that. And then my nieces do it now. They're putting on some performance. They're coming out singing Frozen songs or doing magic tricks out of a cereal box. You know what I mean? It's terrible, but you watch it because you love them. So this thing, I go, how bad could this be, right? It's at a school that's got a theater arts department that's run ostensibly by a teacher, right? These are all the things rolling through my head as we're driving down there. And we're stuck in the most god-awful traffic, right? Not only do I not want to go to this play, now I'm in traffic. Now it's snarled up. They got one of the lanes of 45 is down so they can repaint the stripes or something, and rush hour seems to be the best time they could find to do that, I guess. So there's cones lined up across half of rush hour freeway headed out of the city. We're stuck in two of the other lanes. People are crisscrossing, honking, jamming, brake lights. It's miserable. Absolutely a miserable drive to a thing I'm already certain I'm not going to enjoy. And then you get to the school. You know what I mean? I haven't been down for any of these functions in a long time. I don't want to see ex-in-laws, right? Like that's what you're up against. You show up to a thing like this, and families coming from here and there. And I haven't seen some of these people in 8 years. I don't even, and you see them, you're barely recognizable. You're like, oh, when did you look at the Ark of the Covenant? Like, goddamn, so I'm just, there's those moments, those awkward moments that are happening, and I'm just trying to sit down so I can watch this play. I'm a performer. I respect a good performance. I'm looking forward to this now that I see it's in a gym that seems to have housed a previous performance or two. They put curtains up. We sit down in these little plastic chairs. The gym is, I'd say, a gym cafeteria. One of those big rooms that's not, it's the great schools. I'm kidding. I don't know. It makes them great. But a school with an auditorium is pretty cool. It's your big slope seats. They're permanent. Things were meant to be done here. When you're doing it in a cafeteria or whatnot, somebody's got to bring in speakers. They're never enough. It's somebody's Bluetooth pool speaker. It fills up my backyard. Yeah, well, it's you and 5 people, but you guys are about to do an entire musical with a cast, an ensemble. You got it all going into this little JBL. Okay. Anyway, all that aside, how long do you have to be friends with ex-in-laws? Not to go back to that, but what's the rule? When can you unfriend all of them on social media? I'd do it quick. Not that I have a lot of ex-in-law. I just don't need to. You can't keep stacking lives. I got time for one family of each sibling. Past that, you don't need me. I don't need you. I promise to love you, kids. Goodbye. Anyway, I'm sitting there waiting on this dumb play to start. It's Seussical the Musical Junior. Seussical Junior. I don't know the plot to this at all. I know that when I was on the cruise ships, they did a Dr. Seuss musical crowd participation thing. And because I was so bored on these ships, there was nothing to do but walk around, eat cake, and go watch whatever. Yeah, the amount of times I sat through bingo just because it was a sea day. So one day I was sitting up in the rafters watching Seussical, not Dr. Seuss, the musical stuff on the ship. So, and I learned that Horton heard a who, and people are people no matter how small. And so I took that knowledge into this play, and thank God I showed up with that knowledge, because this, let me just say, this was the most terrible production of anything I've ever seen in my entire life, ever in the history of stuff, ever with my face. This was a god-awful, abortion-level, abysmal, execution of a thing. Ugh. It was the only reason I was able to follow a plot was because I brought aforementioned Dr. Seuss knowledge to the table. My mom was so damn lost, and we're trying not to giggle, right? These are children. But they miss more keys than a blind valet. These caterwauling little things, not one of them. Yeah, one kid I'd have given an A for effort. He did everything he could. His mic kept cutting out. At one point, he was trying to adjust it in the finale, and it wouldn't work up until he went, Jesus Christ, this thing sucks. And then that came through clear as day. It might have been the only decipherable thing that was said in the entire play. I don't want to, look, I feel like you may think I'm dashing some of these children's dreams. These children do not dream to be actors or musicians or singers or performers. Every one of these children wanted to pull the fire alarm. Every one of them. They looked so uncomfortable. And the teacher's just giving them these mumbly ass lyrics. The Seussical the Musical lyrics, they're Seussical. So you can't, if I gotta see your face, I gotta understand the words, I gotta have context. If you're just gonna mumble, child, you need lyrics I understand. Sing Rocket Man or something. But I can't follow along with this. 2, they made it 60 minutes long, which is, and it felt 2 hours long. So in bad performance time, every minute's 2 minutes, and it could have been 6. Nobody wants to see other children perform. You're there to see your kid. A perfect theater arts teacher would do one choral number where every kid came out and sang one line like "We Are the World." You know what I mean? So instead of me having to watch this girl prance around like a ununderstandable bird for 12 insufferable scenes, just have her come out once. It's a choice we're making, and then we move on. Can we just, theater arts teachers, you charged me cover. When did this become a thing? I put on plays for free when we were children. Now, I mean, we had to hustle our own audience. We had paper tickets made out of construction paper. I get it. It was a different world. I got to go online and buy a digital brown paper ticket to get into a child's play? For what? For the 2 set pieces you cut out of styrofoam? No. Where is this money going? To no one. At the end of the play, you asked me to pick up my own chair. If you guys don't mind, before you leave, could you please stack your chairs and bring them to the front? I said, what? Am I back in school? Am I being... I've never... My niece was amazing. I know that sounds so biased that she would be the only thing worth watching in that entire attack on my humanity. She was clear. She enunciated. Now she's been mimicking Disney songs since she was a child. Now she writes her own. She enjoys it. You can see it in her little heart. But the rest of these kids, whoo, they better be good at sports. When I was a kid, we didn't have, not only was there no cover charge, we had to pick up all of the chairs ourselves. There was no oversight. I think one of the kids, I was a magician in like my 3rd grade play. And Amy Hugastrat was my assistant. That was my first crush. I have no idea where she is now. I'd look her up on Facebook, but you try to spell Hugastrat. So she was my assistant. and I think we had a kid in a lion costume or something. Anyway, I was going to make the lion appear out of the box. So the lion just sat in the box for the whole play. I don't just that's these kids had it. Everybody got a part. Come on. We had to rehearse. I earned my lion taming magician part. That kid sucked, so they put him in a costume and made him hide in a box the whole play. But at this thing, they were all singing. Everybody had a part. That is where the verb caterwaul came from. How do you sing badly and quiet? That seems impossible to me. That if you were quiet, I wouldn't be able to tell how pitchy you were. Yet this one girl was so atrociously off key. I don't even know the difference between key and pitch, but she missed all of them. Which makes you wonder, there were like two kids who didn't have a real part. They were just kind of in the background that show up dressed like a lion, then dressed like a palm tree, then dressed like a fish, and their whole job was to just sit in the background and wiggle their arms or something. How bad did those kids sing if this if this terrible kid got the part? We laughed so damn hard at the terribleness of this play. And my mom she doesn't miss a beat either. She looked right at me. She was like, that was awful. And then I called my brother, my brother who was there, and he said the same thing. Everybody agreed. So if I was that theater arts teacher, I'd have done that from the back of the house on a microphone. I would have been all up there. I'm so proud of these kids. No, you lead with, look what I made these kids do. They looked like hostages. Ugh. All right. I don't have anything coming up. I should have dates. I may have dates. I'm trying to put some stuff together. Maybe me and Paul Odo, something down here in Texas. I've got a brand new hour that I'm trying to work out in some places. I am talking to the Houston Improv about maybe doing some local shows to showcase some of the comics I've been watching down here in Houston. So hopefully some stage time that you can catch, but my main focus is going to be on getting the Andy Huggins special out into the public eye towards the end of this year. So follow along everything, sladeham.com. I'll be overseas in February. I think Egypt, Kenya, Djibouti, and then we're going to duck over to Jordan for a bit. My buddy Chase DeRusso will be with me, and I hope he's kicking ass out there in Seattle. I am still, at this point, if you want an update on the rat, and I'll do that before I get out of here, I'm losing. I have done everything there is to do to catch this thing. I have put a bait trail that leads all the way to the trap, and he has eaten the bait all the way to the trap. I've tried different bait. I've tried meats, bacon. I've tried ham. I've tried Swiss cheese, cheddar cheese, Munster cheese. At this point, I've laid out an entire fucking charcuterie board for this rat. I don't even have a rat. I have a pet that I'm just feeding expensive deli food. I've been told that I should get bacon, which I've put a little piece in there, and it has done nothing. I've saved some bacon fat that I'm now going to rub on everything, including the trap, and just hope it dies now from obesity or high cholesterol. Bacon fat, by the way, if you're being a terrible person, looks 100% like cinnamon roll icing. So if you have if you let some bacon fat sit and you don't like someone and you make cinnamon rolls, you could cover it with bacon fat and hand it to them, and they would probably it'd be a horrible thing to do to a cinnamon roll. Why would I say that? So I heard the rat the other night, It's so stupid. I won't even turn the light on and watch him run for me. I know he enjoys it. So I have a curtain that goes. There's a door between what ends up being the living room and the kitchen, and it's not a door, but it's like a doorway, and I have a curtain that goes across it. I was like, oh man, if I hear him in there, what's gonna stop him from coming in here? So I went over there and shut the curtain. Like this rat who's been dodging stealth traps for the last 3 weeks was going to suddenly be stymied by a bolt of cloth. It's so Tom and Jerry at this point without the Tom. This makes me want to get. Cat is next. I'm not on the road enough right now to not get a pet. I'm not going to get a regular cat either. I'm going to get something exotic and rat kill it. Then I'm going to lock it in the kitchen with a curtain and see what happens. All right, let's put a pin in this. I think that does it. School plays suck. Black Panther 2 did not. If you get a chance, go see it. Coogler did an amazing job with what I think was one of the most difficult responsibilities in superhero film. I should never go to the movie theater again. I know that if everybody's on your nerves, it's probably you. But the couple behind me that couldn't shut up, and I don't know how this guy's made it with this yappy this thing all who just, oh, she's so hot. I know her from another movie. What else was she in? Who's that? What did they do? I should have watched the first Black Panther before we came. Oh, I remember her. Look at her hair. If I just turn around, hey, this is in your living room. Can you just be aware? I hate being that person. Then there's a kid crying, and I want to throw, every time I hear that, I want to throw that kid towards the bottom of the theater. And then the other dude, the dude who's this immobile slab of beef who sat next to me, I twitch. I cross and uncross my legs. I move my arms. This dude flopped down. They're the big recliner chairs, but not the big ones where you each get your own armrest. You still got to share like you're on an airplane. We flopped down in these chairs, and this dude's arm just ate the whole armrest, and then he never moved the whole movie. Like his big fat ass just had sleep apnea. He just Biggie Smalls breathing next to me, and just in his left arm kept heaving up that gallon of Coke so he could drink it, but his right one never moved, and he just, you got to share armrest. That's the moral of the story. Also, Ethiopian coffee is fantastic. Cheers to you guys. I wish I knew how to say that in Aramaic. I'll see you guys on another episode soon.